JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 7th of December 2020. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then guys, just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yeah, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. Now, jumping into the charts. Now, the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225, guys, and the index managed to move again above this 26,834 territory I talked about last week, but then quickly reversed back down. Of course, all this is kind of raising a few concerns here for in the bull block, and yep, it's kind of increasing the chances for a further move lower. However, as I mentioned to you guys last week as well, that first of all, at least a drop below the 26,405 zone would be needed here, and then of course if we get a drop below this, then we'll aim for that 26,000 territory or this 21-day EMA shown as the yellow line. So at the moment we're stuck here. We're kind of still, let's say, there is still a possibility for this one to reverse back to the upside. However, I'll keep an eye on this 26,834 territory, and now, given that we had already a few pops here, and we had another today, this morning, we had a hold up near this high, the highest point of last week, which was around the 26,890 zone. Now, if you want to be a little bit more on the safe side and wait and aim for some higher levels, you could wait for a push above that barrier first. Like I said previously, I had this level. Now, given, like I said, that this level here, the 26,890, proved to be quite a decent area of resistance. Now, if we get a break above it, then of course, yep, this could strengthen the upside scenario, and we could aim for some higher levels. But for that, we need to see this index reversing back to the upside. For now, it seems that there is a chance for this one to move lower. However, I'll need to at least wait for that drop below the 26,405 territory, and then yes, I'll take it further from there. Now, Shanghai Composite also drifting lower, all again failing to overcome this upper bound of the range where it's currently stuck in. But I mean, that's fine. I mean, at the moment is just sideways activity here for this index, and the sideways activity is running from around middle of July. So for now, what we could do here is, of course, like I said, this also could drift a little bit lower. However, as I mentioned to you guys last week, if we get a drop below this 3,387 territory, this in a way also now could place the price below the 21-day EMA as well, and maybe more sellers could see this as a good opportunity to step in. But for now, I'm going to take a bit of a neutral stand here, guys, because for the upside, I need to see a good pop and a daily close above this 3,457 territory before kind of let's say examining the upside. Now, in terms of DAX, the German DAX, of course, on Friday we saw the index closing a little bit in the positive territory here. and it failed to move below this 13,213 territory. So we can see that this is kind of providing some support for the moment. Now, if we look at the cash index and where the price is currently sitting at, let me just jump into that one. We can see that the price is currently around 13,230 zone, so basically slightly above this this hurdle, this level, but below Friday's close, guys. So still be very careful, be vigilant, because if suddenly we see a drop below this 13,213 territory, then yes, there is a possibility to see a bit of a further move lower. However, be very careful near this upside line, which in a way could provide a bit of support together with this 21-day EMA. And if all that is true, then we could see a nice rebound and push up again. However, if all this gets broken and we see the price falling below the 21-day EMA, then well, brace yourselves. We could see maybe further declines. And those further declines, the downside idea could strengthen if the price falls below the psychological 13,000 territory right here, guys. So keep your eyes on this one. DXY, so moving nicely away to the upside here, pushing away from this 90.59 territory. I talked about this, and if I go back into history, guys, that's basically the high of the 6th of April of 2018. So we're having a nice push higher here. We're seeing a nice move here to the upside for now, don't get me wrong. However, if it climbs above this 90.93 territory, yes, maybe there could be a possibility to see some higher levels, but don't forget about this downside line, guys, taken from the high of the 4th of November, because it still could provide some resistance. However, if we get a break of that downside line and then we see a push above the 91.75 territory, which previously was seen as a good area of support, now it could take the role of resistance, then yes, higher levels could be met. But at the moment, we are seeing a bit of an upside move here. However, at this point in time, we'll class that as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling. Now, gold. Last week, of course, all this idea worked out nicely, where I was saying that if we get a pop above the 1818 level, my next target is the 1849 zone. So I'm not going to drag this one way too much to the upside. Initially, I'm going to drag only aim for only up until this 1849. As you can see, this happened nicely here, so it did push north, and it got a hold up near this 1849. So if you want to aim for some higher levels, wait for a confirmation break above that area first, and ideally we would like to see the daily candle staying above this area. However, in terms of the downside here, I would need to see this one dropping back below the 1800 level, below this 200-day EMA, and then yep, lower levels could be met, guys. So for now, there is a chance for this one to move higher. However, I need that confirmation close above this daily close above this 1849 territory. WTI oil, so still flirting with this 46.24 zone, which is the highest point of November. On Friday, you can see that the commodity popped higher, but still closed below it. So basically, this idea here worked out nicely. As you remember, in the beginning of last week, I said that in a way we could see a push lower. We could see a hold up near this highest point of August, and then I'll target this 46.25 level again. As you can see, everything worked out nicely according to the plan. Now the big question here is, what should we do after this? So at the moment, I would say that as long as the commodity remains inside this little kind of, I wouldn't even call it a range, but between these two levels, the 43.75 here and the 46.24 zone on the upside. So if you want to aim for some higher levels, guys, wait for a pop and a daily close above this area, this 46.24, and then we could aim for some higher levels, guys, because like I said, we want to be a little bit more on the safe side and protect ourselves, so let's not rush into anything yet. In terms of the downside, well, a pretty straightforward move here. Drop below the 43.75 territory could do the trick for more sellers, so keep your eyes on this one, because at the same time, a drop below this level could place the a price below the 21-day EMA, and maybe more sellers could see this as a good opportunity to step in. Ripple, previously I talked about Ripple and I was saying that the crypto is coiling up. However, as you can see, this is one of those moments where it didn't really work out this way. So we did get a drop lower, but as I mentioned to you guys previously as well, that even though if we get a drop lower, I would still prefer to see maybe a good move below the 0.54 territory. As you can see, this never happened. We just kind of tested the area just fractionally above this level, and it reversed back to the upside. So now what we can do here is first of all get rid of some lines. So first of all, we'll get rid of this one, the upside line, and in terms of the downside, of course, we could start drawing some tentative downside lines. We could keep an eye on this one, taken from the high of the 25th of November. However, don't get me wrong, it's also a bit of a tentative one, so I would prefer to stick to some key resistance and support levels. And in terms of the upside, if you want to aim for some higher levels, well, wait for a push above the 0.6828 territory right here, marked by the current highest point of December. In terms of the downside, wait for a drop below the 0.54 territory in order to aim for some further declines. At the moment, it's stuck here, so let's see how this is going to play out. AUD/JPY. So jumping into a few pairs, AUD/JPY is so far moving according to the plan. It's still after let's put it this way: after breaking the 77.10 zone, it pushed higher. Wonderful. However, it's still not close to this 77.74 territory. I talked about this one previously, and yep, in order to aim for some higher levels, we would need to see a further move away from this upside line taken from the high of the taken from the low of the 2nd of November. So in a way, for now, still the outlook remains somewhat positive, but that will remain only as long as the rate stays above this upside line. If this upside line gets broken and the rate starts falling below the 77.10 zone, yep, now that's where it could become a little bit more interesting for more sellers. So keep your eyes on that one. USD CAD. So this pair is well, after a decent move here to the downside last week, this morning we're seeing a bit of a correction here to the upside, and looking at our RSI, we can see the RSI is a little bit on the lower side, or it's on the oversold side. However, it still remains below this 30 mark. So in a way, we cannot really talk about the upside unless we get at least a push back above this this 30 level right here. So in other words, guys, also looking at this technical picture, you can see that we're still trading below this downside line taken from the high of the 29th of October. So in a way, even if we get a bit of a push here higher, if this downside line remains intact, then another round of selling could be possible. And one of those levels to keep an eye on the downside, well, for that we would need to see, we would need to scroll back here into history and yep, grab one of these levels right here. So that's the 1.2730 zone, and that's the low of, let me just grab this one, the 1.2730 zone, and that's going to be okay, there we go, 1.27. There we go. So that's the low of the 11th of May of 2018, guys. So in a way, there is still a chance for this one to move lower. However, again, let's be very on the careful side, given that we already had a decent move to the downside. Maybe a bit of a correction here higher could be possible. However, let's see how this day is going to end up being, because at the moment, it's yeah, we are quite let's say we are oversold here. But maybe it could go for the last move here towards this 1.2730 zone, tested, and then we could see a nice rebound and a push towards this downside line again. GBP USD. So after a failed attempt here, or no, I wouldn't say a failed attempt, but a failed move here above this key resistance area. Talked about this one on Friday, I said, guys, that in order to aim for some higher levels, wait for that strong push above this 1.3515 territory, and ideally I would like to see that daily candle staying above this area, but that didn't happen. Instead, the pair reversed sharply to the downside, and today we're seeing a continuation move lower. Although yes, it's drifting a little bit to the downside here. However, let's see if the 21-day EMA provides support together with this key support level between the 1.3287 and 1.3313 level. Now, previously I looked at this area as a good resistance zone. Now it could play the role of support, but if that gets broken, well, guys, prepare yourselves for a possible move towards the towards this upside support line, and that's taken from the low of the 18th of May. So keep your eyes on that one. Now, in terms of the upside, of course, I'll take a very careful approach here, and I would rather wait for that daily candle to stay above this 35.15 zone in order to aim for some higher levels. But at the moment, I'm just going to continue observing this one. And to be honest, if this is going to start drifting lower, then maybe USD CAD will have a chance to correct a little bit higher. However, that will depend a lot from the strength, or I would say weakness, or the strength or the weakness of the Canadian dollar. GBP JPY, so looking at this one, we are also at a very interesting level here. First of all, let me just adjust a few lines here. So first of all, I need to grab this peak, the highest point of last week near the 140.70 zone. As you can see, we had a test of that, but then the pair quickly reversed back down. Today we're seeing a further move lower. However, now the big question here is, can or should I say, how far this pair can drift lower? For now, it seems that it's showing willingness to test that 21-day EMA. But we do have this short-term tentative upside line, you can see here, which is kind of tested right now. So that's going to be quite interesting to see, because if we get a drop below this, then my next target is the 21-day EMA, which could provide a bit of support. But if that fails to do so, then yes, well, imagine that there could be some further declines, guys. But at the moment, well, I mean, we are, like I said, at a very interesting spot. So similarly, like with GBP USD, I'm going to remain a little bit on the neutral side on this one, because even if I would like to aim for some higher levels on this one, and I would prefer to wait at least for a push above the 140.31 territory right here, which also acted as a very nice area of resistance recently, and this one marks the highest point of November, guys. Euro TRY, so one of my favorite exotic pairs, guys. This one, as you can see, is stuck here. I talked a lot about this one last week, where I was saying that if you want to aim for some higher levels, at least wait for a push above this 9.55 territory, which is around here. We did get a push above it, but we didn't really get that daily candle remaining above that area. So if it seems like there is some positivity right now in this pair, because the rate continues to balance above the 21-day EMA. So yes, in a way there could be some more upside for this one, but I would rather wait for that daily candle to stay above this 9.55 territory, and then I could start looking at looking at some higher levels. In terms of the downside, I would need to see a drop below the 9.2558 territory in order to consider the downside here. Euro JPY, looking at this pair, you can see that so far it's kind of stuck. You can see that in a way it could be, this little formation here could be seen as a potential bullish flag here. However, I would like to see the daily candle staying above the 126.46 level marked by the highest point of September, or sorry, not the highest point, the high of the 10th of September, because as you can see last week we kept breaking this hurdle, but the daily candle kind of kept on getting pushed back below this area. However, it didn't really drift heavily to the downside. So, which means that this level here is quite an interesting one to watch right now. And if we do get that strong move above it, and we do get that daily candle staying above it, then yes, higher levels could be met. You can see that this morning already the pair did test, or should I say, did come close to testing this area, but it failed to move above it. So yep, I would like to see that daily candle staying above this area, and then we could aim for some higher levels. In terms of EURUSD, now this one is a little bit tricky here. Of course, for now you can see that we're still trading above this upside line taken from the low, the 4th of November, and after kind of failing to move above this, or should I say to stay above the 1.2155 territory last week, you can see that the pair now is showing some willingness to go for a bit of correction. So let's see if that happens. I mean, the next little level here I'm keeping an eye on is the 1.2055 zone, and that, just a quick reminder, this level here is the this one right here, the low up. Let me just drag this one here, it'll be easier. So that's the low of the 27th of April of 2018. So let's see if that provides some sort of support, if the pair of course drifts to the downside. If it doesn't provide support, then of course the next little level to keep in mind here is the highest point of September, which is around the 1.2010 zone. So that's also a good one to watch, because we are then very close to this upside line. But if this upside line gets broken and we see the pair dropping somewhere below this 1.1918 territory, now that's where it could turn out to be a little bit more ugly for more buyers, and yep, we could see this one drifting further south. But at the moment, all eyes are on this area right here, the 1.2055 and the 1.2010, together with this upside line, because again, like, I'm considering a bit of a possibility here to see maybe a bit of a small correction lower. However, we're not really giving up on the bullish scenario overall for now. So guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you found it useful. If you want to catch my video later on, my trader's tea time, as always, 14:15 GMT. For now, guys, I hope you have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.